Welcome. We are so excited that you're here. I'm Heather.
And I'm Melanie, and we are nurse practitioners, and together we own Harmony Aesthetic Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
We try to help women look, feel, and function at their best through aesthetics, hormone optimization, wellness, and longevity medicine.
So today we're going to do a little something different. We're actually going to interview each other so you can get to know who we are.
Well, all right. So, some questions for Melanie. First of all, tell us about your healthcare journey.
Well, I followed my sister into healthcare. She became a nurse at a really young age, and I raised kids for a while in the beginning of my adult life and always thought, oh, that's what I'm going to do. So I did go to nursing school in my 30s, mid 30s. And when I got accepted to the program, I actually went to an appointment with a friend, and she got Botox for the first time. And I was like, a nurse did it. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And then through that in aesthetics, I really became passionate about like anti-aging from the inside out. Like what else can we be doing in our lifestyle and diet and all of those things that is going to make us age more gracefully.
And what made you decide to become a nurse practitioner?
You know, I think college wasn't a big deal in our families, right? Not very many people went, if anybody at all.
No.
And so you did it first, really. And then it was just about that accomplishment, right? Like, but I do love now that I have more autonomy with patients and can really guide them on their own wellness journey.
What led you specifically into aesthetics and wellness, aside from the fact that obviously you went to that appointment and you're like, this is really cool, which is so funny because I don't think I ever even thought of that, you know, in my nursing career before you did that. Like, I never even imagined that being part of nursing.
You know, I've always been beauty, anything beauty, since I can remember, right? When I went to that appointment and I saw a lot of their treatments and stuff, I thought, oh, this is so in line of who I am and nursing and still helping people, just in a very different way, right?
Yeah.
And I knew right away it was my calling.
So in that calling, what are you most passionate about helping, I guess, women in particular with, but people with?
Yeah. I mean, I think as women age, people, but women specifically, I mean, we treat men and women, but I think passion is for women because we've been ignored in healthcare. And I think doctors tell you like, oh, you're just getting old. Oh, it's just right.
Yep, it's something, just pull up your bootstraps. This is normal, it's fine. You roll with it, you just kind of deal with it the way it comes.
Which is so frustrating. And so as I got older and doing aesthetics and seeing that in women, you know, I'm helping them look their best, but they're still feeling like they're aging, right? They don't have the same energy. They you know, and aren't sleeping as well. You know, they're not connecting with their husbands because their libido has gone down, like all of these things. And so it's really amazing when you can actually help somebody feel like themselves again. I mean, that is so rewarding. Nothing takes the place of that.
For sure.
Except for doing it for yourself.
Right, exactly, right? Like, I remember the first time I got my hormones balanced, and like the first 2 or 3 weeks after that was like, oh my God, who is this? Like, where did that come from? And I almost couldn't even connect to when I had that before because it had felt like it was so long ago that I didn't remember even being that person anymore. So it's just kind of funny. What is the biggest mistake women make when it comes to their health?
I would say, and it's not necessarily their fault, but because healthcare was just, what was studied was, you know, white men of a certain age, we were forgotten. And so I think the biggest mistake they make is just like following that, right? Listening to traditional kind of Western medicine and being dismissed and, you know, not being advocates for their own health or finding somebody who is willing to walk through that with them and really make them feel better.
Right, exactly. What do you wish every woman over 40 knew?
Every woman over 40 should know that aging and feeling tired is only one of the options, right? The options of like feeling optimized and energetic and your best self and living your best life is an option as well.
Right, like you don't have to accept that they say that this is normal.
Right.
And this is right. So you don't have to be accepting of the information that's coming in from somewhere when you know there's a different option.
And it's really surprising how we live in a world of information, but how many women really don't know and understand this yet.
I mean, even myself, you know, prior to us like taking this journey and feeling that way and kind of hitting menopause or premenopause, and I did that early because I had an ablation and just kind of kicked me into that.
And genetically,
arena. We do,
because our mom
went through it very early, and so we were just sort of thrown into that, and I did. You know, we all do, I think, because that's what society teaches us. We listen, they tell us it's normal, they tell us this is what we're supposed to do, and we just accept it and move there.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of
difficult.
difficult.
And we watched our mom struggle through menopause, and at the time, the options weren't as they are now.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into a little bit later, like what they were then and what they are now and how much has changed. And kind of her believing, well, grin and bear it and get through it. And so I think the beginning of it for both of us was just like,
I certainly remember her being like up all night long and her just saying, oh, it's just part of aging.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, oh man, that sucks. Like, we have to do that?
Yes.
Like, and then she would even say jokingly, well, look forward to it because it apparently happens to us at about 42, 43 in our family.
And now I get to ask you some questions.
Yay.
Okay. How did you get into healthcare?
Oh my gosh. So I honestly think about this sometimes and I don't know the full answer. I think it just happened by accident. So I had kids really, really young, and I was going to be an attorney. And that was kind of my goal from a really young age. Yeah, I was like really young when I decided, because I love to argue and I love to be right and I love to prove that I'm right. But as I got a little older and had the kids, it just didn't seem like it was a good option anymore. I felt like all I ever heard about attorneys is they spend all these hours at night, like working on cases and that kind of thing. And I didn't want to do that with my kids. So then I just started looking into other options, and it happened by accident. I was thinking, oh, I need to go further with school. I need to do something. Like, I have to have some sort of purpose in life. And was looking at a little private college or whatever, and they had CNA classes. And I was like, oh, certified nursing assistant. I mean, okay, well, we can start there and see where it goes from there. So I became a CNA, and I really loved that work, which sounds strange because really you're wiping butts all day long.
And it is the hardest job in healthcare.
Right? It is such a difficult job, but it's also super rewarding because you do feel like you're really helping people. At the end of the day, they're so grateful that you did change their butt. You did, you know what I mean? Like,
give them a shower,
and all those things. And as I was doing that, I mean, I guess I've always known I've been gifted in like the education realm. It's easy for me to get information, to maintain information, to utilize information, and I love getting new information. And as I was doing that job, nurses kept telling me all the time, like, you really need to become a nurse. Like, you're wasting a gift being just a CNA. And I don't say that with disrespect, because there is no such thing as just a CNA. Like, that's a very, very important job. Like she said, it's the hardest job in healthcare. It's the most important, really, because at the heart of it all, like, you're there with the patients all the time, and you're really who they trust. So when they said that to me, I was like, oh, well, yeah, I do want to be able to like make more money and provide for my family and do other things. Plus, when you're a CNA and you're working that hard, like there's a draw that you know that you get paid more and you don't have to do as hard a work, right? So, right, even though like there's so much more technical work to do as a nurse, like it's not the same physical work. And there was definitely a draw from there. Like, oh yeah, I mean, if I didn't have to lift people all day long and I'm just, you know, doing these kind of things and passing meds. So that's what I did. I went ahead and went to school while having kids and while still working, and kind of worked my way up, and really did CNA, LPN, then RN, then MSN, BSN, then MSN, and now doctorate. So it's been a long road. Yeah. Right?
Tell me how you made the adjustment, like how you turned from doing what you did in healthcare to like joining Harmony.
So I was in skilled nursing and home health for many, many years. The director of both of those, kind of worked my way up to that. Enjoyed the work. I really thought it was good. Like, you know, I was doing the work. I enjoyed the work. My husband would tell me all the time, like, that's the reason you don't sleep, because you're stressed out and you're, you know, overworked. And I thought he was full of crap. You know, I really thought it was something else, something physical, something medical, you know, whatever. Or I just wasn't meant to sleep. Like you know, my nickname is Wonder Woman because of that, because I would often work on 2 hours of sleep and keep going and just doing my thing. But what the shift was you, obviously, right? She was in the aesthetics and wellness arena and had her own practice, and the draw was really like owning my own future. And I felt like you had this wonderful freedom to kind of do the things that you wanted to do. And I was stuck, you know, I was always on call 24 hours a day, and always, and again, did not realize how stressed out this was making me. And then we just had this great opportunity with the boom of semaglutide and GLP-1s. And I mean, she called me on a Wednesday and was like, hey, this is your in, like, this is what we're doing. And I was like, oh, okay, this is it. All right. And by Friday we had a space and we had a name and, you know, registered and everything. And then by April 1st we were open.
Yeah. What is your favorite treatment to provide?
You know what's so funny? My husband asks me this all the time, and I struggle with this because I'm not sure if there's like a favorite treatment, because ultimately what makes me feel good about what we do is just when people after a long period of time come in and go, I feel great. Yeah, this is how I feel. But I think my passion lies within weight loss. And that's because of my own, you know, weight loss journey. Yeah. I used to weigh 320 pounds and was not really healthy. I wasn't unhealthy. I didn't have any medical issues, but my weight loss journey started when I was probably 8 years old. I mean, I've always struggled with my weight, and this one here never really did until later on in life.
Until perimenopause.
Right, exactly. Then we had a problem. Houston, we have a problem.
But I think I so agree with you, because one of the things that when people ask me that, I was like, you know, in traditional nursing, not necessarily home care, but skilled nursing and hospital nursing, like you're there and you really care about the patient, get to know them, and then they're gone and you never know, you know, what happened, how they are. Mm-hmm. And in this business, like, you really get to know people and see them through life's different phases. Like, I have patients who their mom brought them in as teenagers, maybe for acne or laser hair removal, and now they're getting married, right? You know, or having a baby, and it's like I get to see them through that. So that's just amazing. And yeah, building those long-term relationships is
and
the best part.
So different from this side, right? Mm-hmm. I think what I really enjoy about this side, I call it sides, right? Like the skilled side, the skilled nursing side, the home health side, is because that's Western medicine and that's what it's attached to. Like, there's not a wellness core there. Yeah. We're really just seeing people when they're ill
Sick care,
Yeah,
right?
it's sick care, and you aren't preventing.
I mean, being in those kind of situations, especially in a facility where you're feeding them food that's served that you don't even really believe they should be eating, right? It's like, oh, if they had other options, how much better would they be feeling? So how much faster, right?
I think in this journey, for sure, what I have really, really learned just through my own weight loss journey, through the transition over to aesthetics, is that nutrition alone is the biggest cornerstone for wellness, and they don't teach you how to teach people.
Yes.
It's not even something.
They don't even give people the power to know that that could change their lives, right?
Exactly.
They take the power away by saying, like, you know, prescribing, and don't say, listen, if we do these things first, you may not need, right, the prescriptions.
And I think, unfortunately, that's the whole thing about like medical training. When you go to regular medical training, like I have a couple of, you know, physicians that are friends. And so over the years, like asking them about nutrition, they're like, they don't teach us that.
Yeah.
That's not something that we learn. And even in nursing school,
we got one
throughout.
semester,
Yep.
but the semester was really about like, if you don't have enough vitamin C, you could get this. If you don't have enough vitamin D,
It's the illness attached.
yes,
It's the illness
right?
attached.
Not how we can
Make ourselves well.
but yeah, and be optimized by eating well, right?
For sure.
What do you think patients struggle with the most?
Our patients, I think patients in particular struggle with knowing when to say when. So they want to help themselves, but they will seek help from everywhere. And then they're receiving all of this information from several different places, and they don't know what to do with it. And they're trying to manage all these different ways of doing something. And of course, then it's this mishmash of
Leads
like,
to confusion and information overload where they
then you're stagnant,
Yes.
right? Then they're like, forget it, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
They think they are because they're like piecemealing all of these things, but they're not really focusing on one thing to get it done, right?
Yeah, and having one provider that's sort of your main that can adjust with you, because as we know, there's no one right lifestyle or way to eat or for every person. It's all so personal. But yeah, when they're getting information from so many people, they get stuck, right?
And they want to. I think that's the real struggle, is that they want all of this information because they feel like the more information they have, the better they can do for themselves, when in reality, it's the opposite of that, right? The more information they have, the worse off they become because of the things that you mentioned, the overload.
Overanalysis paralysis.
Exactly, exactly.
Even I get that, so it's okay.
Sure.
What do women tell you they miss most about feeling younger?
Oh, energy. Absolutely, the energy. I think, you know, as we age, first of all, but as women in society, the expectation for us is to do, go. You manage your kids, you manage your job, you manage
Your
little
husband,
league practice,
maybe.
you manage your husband. Yes, you manage all of these things. And you, at some point, you just are tired because your body's not working the way that it used to, because as we age, we don't have the hormones that we used to have, and they don't work the same way that they did. And of course, in society, we're taught that we're just supposed to just deal with that.
That's the way it is.
The way it is.
Aging. I'm gonna close this one out with some quick fire questions to continue to get to know us.
All right. So, coffee or tea?
Definitely coffee for me.
Yeah, definitely tea for me, which is so funny. We're quite opposite on a lot of things.
We
actually.
are. The older we've gotten, the more alike we are. But
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, I think we're really similar in like beliefs, personalities, all of those like how we believe people should be treated, how we believe we should treat ourselves, like relationships, those kind of things, and the importance of them in life. But like other things, as far as like movies or not, like she's definitely a not movie person, and I am like a major movie person.
Right.
So Documentaries, yes. Not so much here. Like, it's a struggle. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I start off almost every sentence with, so I was watching this documentary or
podcast,
right?
Now, podcasts I've gotten into, but I have to admit, like, it takes me some time. Like, I'll be like, all right, dang it, she's going to be way ahead of me on listening to these podcasts. So I'm going to have to spend the day listening so that we can talk about those things. Yeah.
Favorite supplement?
Oh, okay. So this is a tough one for me. The reason I say that is because, like, listening to Dave Asprey, like, he's like, just throw it all at it and just go for it, and then you can back things out. Well, I haven't begun backing anything out, so I can't honestly answer what I think is working for me the most. But if you consider peptides a supplement, I mean, I think the best supplement out there is a GLP-1. I think it has been an amazing game changer for me.
And even for women who are not looking to lose weight, like just the studies that are coming out now about
the cardio
reducing
protection.
Reducing inflammation.
And, you know, I continue to microdose that because of the anti-inflammatory component, and just knowing that I'm at an age where arthritis could be an issue, and I want to, and it is in our family. And so I want to be a little bit, you know, I guess, proactive in kind of preventing that. But what about you, favorite supplement?
I would say right now it's urolithin A. I personally take Timeline's MitoPure as my urolithin A supplement, but I just think, like, the studies and what it does, and just in terms of anti-aging and everything, it's probably my favorite right now.
And I put my husband on it too. So I can definitely see a difference in him, and like, now he's got all this energy. He's getting up at like 3:15 in the morning and
to go for a walk,
walking and doing the push-up bar. And I'm like, okay, we already get up at 3:45. You're not getting me up at 3:15. I just haven't found the energy to do that yet. But there you go. So let's see, the biggest health myth.
Biggest health myth, I would say, is it has to be with women around menopause, and just that there's, the only option is to feel tired and unsexy and old, right?
Yeah. I'm also going to jump in there too and say that with our gain in learning things and kind of being a little bit more empowered as women to do things about our hormones, men who wouldn't normally say anything are actually now moving to do things. Like, they weren't as ignored as us when they actually had the nerve to say something. But I think I find in our practice, the men that we have coming in didn't want to say anything because it felt less macho. You know what I mean? To the women that are influenced by that are attaching their men and getting them, because we do have a lot of couples that come in, you know, and participate.
A lot of how men come to us, actually.
Exactly.
Right?
Let's see, most underrated health habit.
Weightlifting, I would say, is the most underrated, because what the muscle does for you as you age, in terms of like keeping bone health and just balance and all the things that are really important as you age, like, nothing can replace it. Like, keeping muscle mass is so underrated and so important.
I totally feel like she's talking to me and not you, by the way, because this is a battle that we have all the time. Like, she's so healthy and does, you know, the routine and make sure, and you can look at her arms, at the difference between her arms and my arms. Very concise, but I struggle with that because I just don't like to do anything that requires that much.
We'll have to have a whole talk on that, because I think it's also important for people to know that it doesn't take 5-6 days a week in the gym. It takes good nutrition and 2 days maybe of just
which is what she does. It's I'm just kind of admitting to my own laziness, really, is that I'm
around that, not laziness, but around that.
I just, you know, when I get home, I leave my house at 4:15 in the morning. I typically get home around between 6 and 7, And when I come, I don't
She
have
has 2
it.
days off.
Yeah, I do. See,
Friday,
I
Saturday,
know,
she could
right?
just do 2
Okay,
days.
yeah, there we go. Therein lies the rub, right? That there's my laziness. That's the true key there. But I'm gonna get better, I promise.
Okay, what's your most underrated health habit? Do you have one?
Yeah, I think nutrition.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that if people knew, like, all of these old things that are out there, the old research and everything, people heard a long time ago and they don't re-up. Everybody thinks that low fat, low carb, that's the way to go. That's not necessarily the truth.
For everybody.
For everybody.
Right?
Right?
And because we are so different, it
It's
could
so
be for you,
important.
but
Yeah.
for the most part, like the old ways of thinking are not.
But that's why it's important to do some testing, like the VR2 Max and those kind of things that we have, here that we can test and see like where your metabolic health is and what you specifically for your body, what you can do to make your body respond better to the nutrition that you're putting in it. And you have choices, right? But if you don't know those things, you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just keep practicing the things that
you
don't
hear.
work, but they do temporarily. That's the problem, right? Is that some people will do this really low fat, really low carb, maybe relatively high protein, but tons of activity, tons of cardio. And it does temporarily work into a certain point when your body then goes, okay, I don't know what else to do with this.
Yeah.
And then you start
Not feeling great.
Right.
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 Yeah. Most overrated wellness trend.
Oh, this one's hard for me.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
I would say that it's for veganism and vegetarianism. And I do absolutely think like a more plant-based focused diet can be really good.
Sure. Yep. I agree.
But it's really hard to stay metabolically healthy and nutritionally balanced on a completely vegan diet.
You have to be super dedicated to, and I've never been, by the way, vegan or vegetarian or anything remotely close. I'm definitely a meat eater, although I struggle in my older life. We've talked about this before.
Getting enough protein.
Getting enough protein is a real big struggle for me because something about meat, I don't know if it's texture, I don't know if it's taste, I don't really know. But suddenly, I've always been meat and potatoes kind of gal. But suddenly over the past like 2-3 years, I'm struggling to eat enough protein or to eat protein, period. Yeah. So I can totally see where people do, become vegans or, vegetarians.
And I think the ideas they have around that are sound, like the industrialization of like animals and how we get our meat is not good, right? But I think there's new information about like regenerative farming and getting that good healthy meat and how that is for the environment compared to like industrial meat and all those things that are the concern. I think that there's a way to be, cognizant of that and care about that and still get in the right nutrition for you, right?
Oh, yeah. I think so, for sure. But that definitely, I could see.
We're not very
where
quick
that
on
is.
these quick fire
Sorry.
questions.
We're not really quick
gabby.
firing. We're gabbing. Okay. One thing every woman should do tomorrow for her health.
I would say test.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say get tested.
Just get a good, like, where you are nutritionally, where you are hormonally,
metabolically,
all of it. Like, now it's so readily available where you can even order it from home if you don't want to go anywhere and get a finger prick. But of course, we'd love to have you here. We offer all of that here and can really guide you on what's important to know now as well. But you got to know your numbers because, taking in the right things to change those numbers is going to be what changes how you feel.
Exactly.
Right?
And I'll tag along with that and add something. I think additionally prioritize that.
Prioritize you.
Prioritize
because
that. Like,
the better you are, the better you will be at your caretaking.
Right. Because we hear that a lot in this business because we're in a cash business. This is where people come in and they spend their own money, their own hard-earned money. Mm-hmm. And some people work very hard for very little money. And coming in and spending that money on testing feels like it's not something they should do, right?
Yeah.
It's hard for them
guilty.
to wrap that. Yeah.
They do it for their child, but maybe not for themselves.
Right. And so prioritize that.
Yeah.
We often say that to patients that come in. Well, it just depends on where your priorities are. And we don't mean that in a bad way. We get it. You know, if you got to buy groceries, you got to buy groceries.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But
if you make it a priority and you get that one test, it just clears things up for you to start making the changes that will make a difference for you.
Start setting aside money to make that a priority, right? Just like little bits at a time, chunking away at it.
Okay, last question, favorite treatment at Harmony?
Weight loss. I mean,
weight loss
that's just my thing. I just find so much reward in that.
I would say it's memberships. And the reason I say that is because when somebody comes consistently, whether it's for aesthetics or wellness, it's those small, consistent changes that make the biggest changes and benefit people the most. They don't have to like come in once a year and do like filler, Botox, or skin tightening, but just being on a membership and seeing us on a regular basis and having that person to talk to you about your test or how you're feeling now and all of that, and change things as you go is just huge.
And it's a big deal. It is a big deal when you consistently do those things. So, all right. So that was it for today. I'm sure we just gabbed your ear off, and we were so happy and excited to have you, and we can't wait to see you next time. And so I'm Heather, and
I'm Melanie.
and we'll see you again.